All right. Good morning and welcome to this quarter's second Hangout for the Mobile Guru program. My name is Clark, and as you all know, I'm part of the Guru program team. In the next 30 or so minutes, we will be spending time talking about mobile speed and enabling you and your agencies to talk to your advertisers about mobile speed in a compelling way, talking through a pitch framework as well as key tools that we use to show how poorly performing a mobile site currently is. And the second half of the training, we'll talk through new platforms that Google is working on to improve overall site load speed in the form of progressive web apps and accelerated mobile pages. Let's get right into it. Like I said, the first half we'll be talking through a mobile speed pitch, and we have mainly built this training to help you be successful. After this training, you should be able to build urgency and let your customers understand why speed matters. Second, use tools to assess your customer's mobile site performance. Third, provide clients with resources to solve those issues. And fourth, address common questions and objections. Caveat that you will not become a developer in the next hour. So this is the framework that we use for a quality mobile site speed. There are three key parts. You begin with the heart and driving an emotional response with your clients. You then move into the head after they understand the urgency and that there's a problem that needs to be solved. What exactly is the business impact, or what exactly is the upside to their business by solving the speed problem? The third piece are the hands, where now that they understand that there's a problem, they know what the value is to their business. What are the tools to help them take action and fix the problem? So let's begin with the heart. Generally, what we've come across is that clients don't really perceive how bad their site is. Usually, they load it on Wi-Fi, they load it within good network conditions, and because it's their web, all the content is usually cached on their phones. However, what we found is when you take the same website that loads supremely fast on Wi-Fi on a cached phone and take that to real-world conditions, meaning you're on network, likely 3G or 4G speeds, you're on incognito, meaning none of your cache will be taken into account, and you have the website load, we found that it more clearly illustrates how slow or how clunky their website is currently loading. So the first step is really having them go through that exercise so that they can see within real world conditions how their website actually performs. The second thing, and this is a piece that is usually available within the mobile site audits, is showing how similar or competitors are performing. This video, which you will be able to access either through the audit or create by yourself on webpagetest.org, shows you clearly how much quicker you or your competitors are in loading their website. So the two pieces here is first, having them understand that their mobile site may not be performing the same way within real world conditions. And second, showing off how other competitors or how other similar advertisers are currently performing. With these two things, we then are able to build the urgency and have our advertisers understand that, okay, there is a problem and we need to be solving for this. Now, moving into the head piece of the pitch, we want to obviously spin this in a positive way. We don't want to just say that, okay, a problem exists. We also want to show what the value is or what the business impact is of fixing the speed issues to their business. We've harped on this before, and throwing statistics around, you see 8% increase in your bounce rate, et cetera, can only take effect by so much. What we've actually worked on is, there's a link within the slide, and once you receive it, you will be able to access this. We've worked on a speed calculator, taking the input of your current mobile conversion rate on the upper left-hand corner of the slide, the number of mobile visitors per month to your website, the average revenue per mobile conversion, and the current load time. With those four metrics, we're able to extrapolate what the business impact is with each second of speed improvement. The metrics here are based on global studies and global averages on improvement in conversion rates. And with those four metrics inputted, I can say, okay, this website is currently loading at 12 seconds. Each second improvement, or with each second decrease in that load time, this is how much uplift I'm expected to receive. There are two versions of the metric. One is conservative, or on the fairly low end of the spectrum, and the other is expected, which is what we've actually seen happen. Take this same website. If I'm able to cut down my 12-second load time to 4, meaning I decreased it by 8, if you look at the last line, my annual revenue upside is expected to be $85,000 based on my current performance. And likely because my mobile site isn't optimal, I'm not even driving that many visitors on the mobile platform to my site yet. So this is based on your current traffic split between desktop and mobile. With this value, so cutting it down to 4 seconds drives $85,000 in annual revenue. We can then much easier take this to advertisers, to our partners, and say, by spending $1,000 to $5,000 in improving your website speed, this is the potential upside. It's then clear for everyone to understand why that investment is actually minimal compared to what the impact is to their business. This spreadsheet is available to you. So by clicking on the link, once you receive the deck, you should be able to access it. All right. So now that we've harped on the urgency of the issue, and we've also shown the positive light of the issue, meaning the potential business upside, we now move on to the hands. and providing the advertisers or our advertisers with the tools to take action. The main resource we have here is, as you all know, we currently have a team that audits websites both on UX and speed, so that we can take this information to our partner advertisers and get them to implement. The slide that I'm currently projecting is a typical summary against three of the main metrics that we track for mobile site speed, which is your first impression, or what loads within 3 seconds, your number of requests, or how many requests are done with every single time your website is asked to load, and your page weight, or how big your website is in terms of file size. The tenets that we ascribe by is that on the first impression, your above the fold content should load within the first 3 seconds. On number of requests, just because the lower this is, the less frequency data needs to transfer between one server to the other. We want to limit this to less than 80 requests. And on page weight, obviously, this is a bit more direct. The lower or the lighter your website is, the faster it is likely to load. And the goal is that everything should be less than 1 megabyte. The current mobile site speed audits that we provide will go through your advertiser's website and how they stack against these three best practices. And that will be the easiest way to get them to act on fixing their mobile speed. What we also wanted to spend time with you today is how are we able to figure out those metrics by ourselves? Say we don't have time to ask for an audit, or we don't have enough allocation to ask for an audit. How can we go through, or what process can we do so that we can figure out where their points of improvement are? The key thing that we use here is the Chrome DevTools. It's accessible if you're using Google Chrome as your browser, and it works for all websites. The next few slides will talk through the steps taken so that you can simulate real-world conditions for your mobile site loading. So the first step is to launch the tool. It's as simple as within your Chrome browser, clicking View, selecting Developer, and clicking on Developer Tools. Again, don't worry about memorizing or taking note. You will have these slides for reference afterwards. Once you have that, we ask that you select certain settings so that we can simulate real-world conditions. So you begin by toggling to phone view. By default, it will load to desktop, but by clicking on point A, you should be able to select phone. Second step is selecting the phone type to view. Generally, there's really no difference between if you select an iPhone or an Android, but I guess it's worth tailoring this to what your client is using, just to make it more compelling. Third step is to click the video camera icon so that it tracks and loads up each of the steps that happen once your page is launched. Fourth step, disable cache. Again, caches allow your website to render faster because some of the information already exists within your browser. So by doing that, it will relaunch everything as if it's a new user that's never been to your website. Fourth step, select good 3G. We optimized the 3G mainly because although 4G is generally accessible within Australia, we found that the speeds that 4G performs at is still closer to 3G than actual 4G speeds. So this is why we optimized the 3G. And then the last piece is refreshing the page so that it starts loading up again. Once you get these 6 steps in place, this is what you'll see. And in the red boxes would be the key metrics that we want you to look at. So the first is your number of requests. Like we said, best practice is to have less than 80 so that the data transfer between your mobile phone and the server that is holding all the information is much less frequent. Right now, this website has 47 requests, so it's already pretty optimal. Second metric, your page weight, or how heavy your website is. Right now, this website is 3 megabytes. As a general best practice, we recommend that we optimize to limit this to less than 1 megabyte only. And this obviously makes sense because the lighter your pages, the faster your website will load on regular 3G. The third piece is what loads within 3 seconds. So if you look at the upper panel of the screenshot, you will see the timestamp and what exactly is going on that website as time progresses. Within 3 seconds, we can see that the buttons and the text have already loaded, but the image is not there yet. Meaning, within 3 seconds, the website is still incomplete. So we need to optimize to make sure that what happens on the 3rd second is that most of the above the fold content has already loaded. Once we have this information, we can then figure out how to optimize, and about 80% of the time, what we've found is images are the biggest driver for slow page loads. This is a Google property, so expectedly it should actually be much faster than what it is. But because the image is pretty big, it hasn't even fully loaded within 3 seconds. So in summary, we begin with the heart, or making our clients understand or respond emotionally to how slow the website is by showing it in real world conditions, removing all the benefits of Wi-Fi and caching, and comparing it to their competitors so that they see how they stack against similar businesses. We then take this sense of urgency to business impact by showing them statistics, yes, but also translating the improvements to their mobile site speed to revenue or to their bottom line. The third piece is once they understand the urgency and see the value to their business, we then talk them through the hands piece, which are tools to help them take action and fix the problem. This could either be through the audit, which will go through and detail what pieces of their website they can optimize, or by doing just a simple Chrome DevTools review so that they can see in real time where there are pieces that they can fix. And that ends the first half of today's training. For the second half, like I said, we're focused on mobile speed platforms that Google is working on to improve page load times across the board. The reason why Google decided to focus on this problem is that although generally the mobile web has more visitors, so if you can see on this graph, it has 11.4 million monthly uniques on mobile web versus apps at 4 million. So pretty much threefold in traffic. However, in terms of engagement, the amount of time that's spent on applications is I don't like 20x of mobile web. So there's an opportunity here to improve the performance of the mobile web so that engagement is either optimal or even as close to apps as possible. The web has always been great at distribution, meaning it's easier to discover. You have your typical websites, you have links, you have your search engines. However, like I said, engagement is much lower. On the app side of things, while engagement is fairly high, generally apps are harder to find. If you're not within the App Store or the Play Store, you likely will not be you likely will not be found, period. And even once you're in there, just the amount of saturation for apps is so high that discovery is really difficult. The two solutions that Google is working on is okay, given mobile web is easier to discover, how do we bring the level of engagement for mobile web to the same of that of apps? The first of our solutions is AMP, or Accelerated Mobile Pages. So the first thing is that AMP pages are incredibly fast and use less data. On average, it loads 4 times faster than typical mobile pages and loads within or less than 1 second. On top of that, it uses 10x less data than the average mobile page. This is because of the entire ecosystem that's built around AMP. First is the AMP HTML framework helps you develop pages that are optimized for faster performance. In the same way, the ads that are served on AMP pages load twice as fast and create better advertising experience. We've partnered with a lot of tech vendors to comply with this HTML standard, helping your pages to perform whether to display ads or collecting analytics. And the biggest piece here is that global AMP caches, or where the data is stored, have also been optimized to bring content much faster wherever the page is being loaded. The first piece is that it's simpler. The AMP platform simplifies your web page by minimizing the duplication and applying the same script across all your different pages. So in the past, each part of our website, each page of our website needs to have its own set of HTML code. AMP removes that and instead applies one single code to all your pages, or one single script to all your pages. It allows you to do that because the AMP HTML has evolved to include rich and a fairly growing library of pre-built, easy-to-use components that you can use to embed rich media, show live updates, display ads, or collect analytics. So by using the library of templates, it makes it much easier for the browser to load your websites, and it makes it much faster for the browser to load your websites. We're also working very closely with a lot of CMS platforms to get pages on app. So we already have a list here of um, web dev tools such as Squarespace, Shopify, WordPress that are already compatible with app. So more than just asking advertisers and agencies to develop on this platform, we're working with existing platforms that a lot of her bases use um, to get them compatible to app. App is actually fairly straightforward. So if you click through to this website, it will guide you through an implementation, or actually, no, it will guide you through a checklist to see where you currently stack and what steps you can take to optimize your websites to this platform. So I'd recommend that you visit this ASAP. The second solution that Google worked on is called Progressive Web Apps, or PWA. This takes the web experience a step further by providing app-like functionality within the mobile web. It's faster, so we've allowed smoother animation, smoother scrolling, and seamless navigation. It's more reliable. So on top of that, it loads faster. We've also built functions that allow PWAs to work offline or on like inconsistent networks. And third, because the functionalities are similar to that of apps, they're more engaging. So you can launch them from your home screen. They can fill up your entire screen similar to apps, and you're able to send push notifications. We've already found that, or we've already harped on this metric that faster website loading translates to better results, and it's not any different for the PWA platform. Here's an example of AliExpress, which is an e-commerce website, and once they migrated to PWAs, they saw a 74% increase in time spent and 82% more conversions on iOS. On top of this, like I said, we are able to show content even on flaky networks. As we know, many users experience poor or low connectivity from time to time. Say you're in the subway or you're in a tunnel. For such scenarios, the usual experience is you won't be able to load the page. So you'll get the "you are offline" dinosaur on Chrome, and it ends there. With PWAs, you're able to cache deep into your app's content based on what the user has previously viewed. So if I'm walking or if my subway goes deeper underground and I lose my network, experience will fluid enough that all of the cache content that I've loaded on my browser will still be there, and any functionality that I've cached, I can still do. Meaning, if I already loaded a product page, I can continue to browse within that product page to read more about that product. Any uncached activity is logged so that when you go online again, the user is prompted to go back into that experience and continue. So it makes it more fluid, and especially now where we're on the go and we're moving between um, networks and network speeds, this will make it easier to have a continuous and fluid experience. Another feature that's built within PWAs is that you're able to put your icon on the home screen, similar to any app. And once it's loaded from the home screen, it also functions similar to any other app within a full screen mode. So it won't look like you're in a browser. It won't look like you're in a website experience, but instead, it will very much function like an app, except you've not installed anything. It's not taking up any content on your phone, and everything is still actually the mobile web. The last piece is that we're able to re engage with web push notifications. Again, similar to apps, one reason for you to come back to using any other app is that it sent you a notification and you want to check out what happened. Progressive web apps allow you to do that and allow you to notify your user based on their input with specific information to drive repeat purchase or to maybe potentially close the cart or complete the purchase, um, and allows you to follow through in ways that current mobile web experience currently does not. So in summary, it's really about taking the app experience to the web and making the web as engaging and as useful as existing apps that we have this day. It works everywhere from the start. You don't need to you don't need to install anything. You don't need to build separate from iOS or Android, and all you need is a browser. And it allows you to provide enhanced experience on browsers. Here's an example of a big success case study that we have from India, where they even took a big jump by not working on a mobile site and instead focusing on just developing the progressive web app. They saw 3 times more time spent with 40% higher re engagement and 70% higher conversion rates. Now, in terms of implementation, progressive web apps are not as simple, and there are 3 ways that we suggest or that we recommend you go about. Either while you're currently running your existing mobile site, you build everything from the ground up, or you select your highest traffic or highest volume pieces and enhance that to be on PWAs. Or you can also start with just a single feature on your website. More information is available on this link, so you'll be able to click that once you get this deck, and that will walk you through a checklist similar to AMP on how to go about developing progressive web apps. With that, I end my presentation and pause for any questions. Okay, we have one question here. How can I build a progressive web app? So, like I said, a lot of the content is within our developer page. So I've added that as a link within the presentation so that you can click through and read more about it. That page will go through the value of progressive web apps as well as a checklist and a training module for you to learn um, how to write this version of the code. This is a bit more involved, like I said, versus AMP, but as you can see, it adds a lot of value to your mobile web experience. Okay, we have another question. In terms of tracking engagement with AMP pages, can this be done easily in Google Analytics? Yes, the platform is compatible with Google Analytics. And as you build out your pages, you can add the same analytics codes to those pages. Okay, third question. How will PWA affect SEO? Will the content be read from the desktop mobile version of or from the PWA? So on the SEO side of things, we're actually not trained and we're not experts on SEO, but similar to everything that or similar to the process that Google takes with organic rankings, all page types will be taken into account. Your desktop, your mobile, and your progressive web app will not be seen as a separate page altogether. It is your mobile experience. So that will be taken into account. And as you know, speed is a big factor for organic results. And the speed of your progressive web app within your mobile experience will be taken into account for SEO. Short answer is the crawlers will not see it as two separate things, but as your mobile experience and your desktop experience, not your mobile experience and your PWA experience. Here we have another question. With so much focus on optimizing web pages for mobile, because that's where traffic is headed, but what about DSPs not being able to count all conversion from mobile-based browsers, especially Safari on iOS? What is being done in regards to that? I can't speak to this to the fullest extent, but I do know that we are working with that platform to enable this, similar to the way where we're working with um, other companies so that we can track app downloads from their app stores. I don't have full details, but that's as far as I know. And I don't think the details will be public anyway as of right now. So the slides and the video will be shared after the Hangout. Yes. Will Google continue with AMP? Lots of teething errors reported online. The answer is yes. Um, as with Google's approach to everything, we take it as we build a product that's not 100% ready, bring it to market, and see how it sticks, get feedback, iterate, and improve. And the same is applied to this platform. So AMP, when it was launched, was not 100%, um, or was still had a few kinks, if I could say it that way. Um, but allowing it to be used and allowing big and small publishers to try out the platform enabled us to understand where the limitations are and where the issues are so that we can fix and iterate and improve on it. Um, so despite the feedback or despite some issues with the platform, the Google team that works on it is still working on it and will continue to improve it. Yes. Where can I get all the links? The links will be provided in the deck. So once you receive the deck, all the links, my understanding is, should work as expected. Thank you for all the questions. If there's nothing else, that is it. Thank you again for joining, and please let us know if we can help you in any way in convincing your advertisers to prioritize mobile speed.